Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome to Beyond the Cloud. In today's video, we will guide you through setting up a VPC flow logs to stream into Amazon Elasticsearch, providing you with valuable network insights. So please note that this process involves some costs, which we will briefly mention as we will go along. So by the end of this tutorial, you will be able to monitor your VPC traffic effectively using Elasticsearch. So if you are new to this channel, kindly like, share, subscribe and comment your thoughts. Let me know what you liked and what you didn't. I will try to make some recommended video out of you guys if you have it. So sit tight and enjoy. So streaming VPC flow logs to Amazon OpenSearch, how we will do it. And before going into that, so we have to understand a couple of things here, or we have to know what is VPC flow logs or what is Amazon Elasticsearch, how they are interlinked, and why they are important. So VPC flow logs are very powerful feature in AWS that captures detailed information about the IP traffic following through your virtual flowing through your virtual private cloud, that is your VPC, and these logs is very critical. Why? Because it has a source and destination IP address, ports, protocol numbers, packet, time intervals, whether it is accepted or rejected, and everything. It has been shown here. The granular data is also invaluable for network troubleshooting, security analysis, compliance auditing, performance optimization. Now, uh, this the direct delivery to OpenSearch. What AWS offers is a seamless integration between the VPC flow logs and Amazon Elasticsearch service. So this actually direct streaming capability eliminates the need of intermediate storage of processing steps, reduces latency in data availability, simplifies the overall architecture, and also enables near real-time analysis for network traffic. So why log analysis with OpenSearch? So um, uh, it gives us various pattern recognition, identify the common traffic pattern, security monitoring, performance optimization, pinpoint the bottlenecks of the insufficient routing, generate reports according to that, and understand traffic trends to inform infrastructure decision. What is now the next question should be what is OpenSearch service? So Amazon OpenSearch is a fully managed service to manage the search and analytics engine. So what offers is support multiple version of OpenSearch and Elasticsearch, and it is very easy to set up, scaling of clusters, built-in security features, integration with other AWS services as well, and high availability and fault tolerance. So we have couple of visualization tools as well, like OpenSearch dashboard, and also we have Kibana dashboard. Kibana, we can create and share dynamic dashboard, explore large volumes of data, and perform advanced time series analysis as well in Kibana. The scalability is there. I was mentioning that it was highly scalable. So OpenSearch services handles trillions of requests per month, automatically scales. So you just have to mention it, and then offers various instance types optimized for different workloads and provides option for dedicated master node to provide cluster scalability. Also, it happens with real-time monitoring. Logs and streams are indexed rapidly. Dashboards are updated near real time. Alerts can be configured, immediate notification issues, and enables proactive management and network security concerns. The operational insights will be the by leveraging the VPC flow log and open source service, organization can gain valuable operational insights, like for example identify and respond the security threats, optimize network configuration, track application usage pattern, make data driven decision, and improve overall cloud governance and cost management thing. If you see the architecture diagram here, what we will do, so we have a VPC. We will have a VPC, so every account have a VPC. You can use that or you can create a new one. So that VPC will have flow logs enabled. We will create the flow logs, and that flow log will generate the logs of this VPC or send the logs to the VPC flow logs to Amazon CloudWatch to a log group. So for that, it needs one permission. We will also create the permission and role and everything. So flow logs now sending logs to Amazon CloudWatch log group. And from that CloudWatch log group, we will create the OpenSearch domain. And from that OpenSearch domain, it will pull the logs from this CloudWatch log group. So Amazon CloudWatch needs to have a streamlined filter enabled, and that filter subscription filter enabled, and that subscription filter will push all the logs to CloudWatch service if it has a correct permission. So we will create the permissions for this as well, and then in the OpenSearch we will create the index, and when we create the index we will be able to see all the data streamlined into OpenSearch dashboard. We will create one or two visualization dashboard as well and show you how can you visualize the data in near real time, so that it can be beneficial for your management as well. So this is really nice. We will be able to see the OpenSearch dashboard in picture. Now, one thing that comes into my mind, that how if you have worked with Splunk, so one thing that comes into your mind, that this is similar to Splunk, right? So then why it is beneficial, or why we are not using Splunk, or what is the benefit of using Amazon Elasticsearch over Splunk? So to be very frank, there is no benefit of using Amazon OpenSearch over Splunk. If you have a large organization, but if you have a very small organization with very less number of traffic, then you can use OpenSearch. And if you have a very less budget, because Splunk has a very high cost, and the license cost is really high. So if you are not that big organization, you cannot afford that. So if you have a very limited budget for your monitoring and security perspective, you can use OpenSearch service, which is cost effective. Now, couple of differences that I have cited out here is that deployment. OpenSearch is a fully managed cloud service. Splunk is kind of on-prem cloud or hybrid. So both, everything it has, because it is huge. OpenSearch is a automatic scaling, but Splunk have a manual scaling with and can be complex. Uh, AWS services are deeply integrated with OpenSearch service, but Splunk is kind of broad integration capabilities and may require additional setup for AWS. So for AWS integration in Splunk, I have worked with that. You need additional storage in between to put the log, and then from there you need to push the logs to Splunk. Cost model is kind of pay as you go with reserved instances available, and Splunk is typical license based. As I said, that if you want to have Splunk, then you need to buy licenses, and it is really expensive. So from cost perspective, Amazon OpenSearch is really nice to have. Learning curve is moderate, and for Splunk it is steeper, because Splunk is known for its complexity. Search capability is very powerful for OpenSearch, and for Splunk it is extensive search and analytics feature, because Splunk is known for that. Both of them have a near real time processing. OpenSearch dashboard and Kibana dashboard are there for visualization, and Splunk have a Splunk web interface for visualization. OpenSearch has a basic machine learning capabilities. Splunk also have a machine learning, but it is advanced with AI features. OpenSearch is kind of growing and backed by AWS, but it is Splunk is large is already mature. OpenSearch data source is primarily optimized for AWS, but can ingest other various sources as well. But Splunk is extremely versatile. Apart from AWS, it can ingest almost any data source. Security is nice. AWS security features and IAM integration it has, but for Splunk, it is a robust security features and may require manual configuration. So, as we have seen now, there are a couple of benefits and drawbacks of using AWS OpenSearch over Splunk. But as I'm saying, this demo is only to show you how you can streamline your VPC flow log to Amazon OpenSearch. It's not a video of comparison of Splunk and OpenSearch. But if you want to streamline your VPC flow logs to OpenSearch, you can follow me through. There will be a bit cost associated with this video if you are following through. Please keep that in mind. It won't be that much, but we will try to be in free tier. I will tell you how to be in free tier, but depending on your account setup and your account usage already, you might not be able to be in free tier if your usage are over your monthly cutoff. So please bear in mind, you may have to give some cost if you are following through this video, but nonetheless, I'm sure you will enjoy this video if you follow me through. So now let's go and do the practical. Here I'm inside my AWS console where we will do this demo, and I will follow along with this demo the North Virginia region. You can choose whatever region you want. Now, the first of all, if you see the picture here, first of all, we will create the OpenSearch domain, because the OpenSearch domain the creation of OpenSearch domain takes around 20 to 15 minutes. So first of all, we will create the domain and then leave it as it is, and we will create couple of other things as well. Now, let's go back to our management console, and then we see that we go to here, we type in open search, and the open search console will come up, and here we first create the domain. On the right hand side, you will be able to see the create domain option. So if you click on that, now that you have to give a domain name. So first of all, I will give the domain name as demo domain. So this is my demo domain, so you can give whatever name you want. Now, easy creation is something that you can choose if you don't have to bother about the price that it will take. But if you create the standard, if you select standard create, then you can choose the instance types, where the minimum instance type, if you choose, you will have to pay very less amount of money. So I will choose the standard create, and then I will choose for development and testing. This is not for production. For development and testing, we are doing it. And this two option will also incur some cost, because if you choose domain with standby, then it will create it will create domain in 3 availability zone, where everything will be standby. So the availability will be 99.99%, which in production case is really fine. But for development and testing, we don't need domain we don't need domain with standby. So we will select domain without standby, and we will create it in 1 availability zone. I think for demo purpose this is perfectly fine, but if you are creating for production, you can select domain with standby. Now the version, we will not change it. It will take the latest version. And then on the data nodes, this is very important. On the data nodes, we will select the minimum data nodes that is required to be in very minimal price strategy. So we will select the general purpose one, and if you scroll down, we will select the T3 small search. So the T3 small is the one where the AWS free tier, and it includes the usage up to 750 hours per month of T3 small instance and up to 20 GB of general purpose. So this is why we are choosing this T3 small search, and if you select this domain with standby, you will not be able to get this option. So it's better to select this domain without standby for development and testing, and select this T3 small search to be in a free tier. Now, all I'm saying is free tier because from your account perspective, it might not be free tier because you might be running other EC2 instances. But for me, I am not running anything else in this account, so I will be inside this free tier. Check with your account billing perspective what you can run in your account. This will help you to understand what is the how the pricing will go up. But if you follow me along with this tutorial, please remember that you might have to pay a couple of dollars, 1 or 2, I don't know, depends on your account. So might have to pay a couple of dollars because of this domain, because Elasticsearch or OpenSearch is not free. Now, number of nodes, this is fine. I will select only one node. This is fine for me. And the storage is also something from 10 GB to 100 GB. You can select. I will select the minimum one, 10 GB. And apart from that, I will not change anything. Now, I will come down, and then on the network section, I will choose the public access. And on the fine grain access control, I will choose create master user, the user where we will log in to our dashboard. And for the username, I will choose admin, and password is something that you can give whatever you want. So this is something I will choose my own password, and then the password is uh, so this is my own password. You can type in your password and the format is specified here. The master password must be at least 8 characters long, containing one uppercase, one lowercase, and one number, one special. So you follow this criteria and give your password whatever you want. Now for authentication, I will not choose anything, and then the everything is okay. And for access policy, I will only use fine-grained access control, the user ID and password that we have given, and then use AWS own key for the encryption. This is fine. I will not choose anything. Off peak window, I will not give anything. And then apart from that, I will not change anything, and I will select create. So as I said, the domain creation will take a huge amount of time. It might take 15 to 20 minutes of time for this domain to create. So we have to wait for this domain to be available in our account. So before that, before this domain is created, we have to do couple of things. Like for example, we have to create two IAM role. One for the flow logs to push logs to CloudWatch, and another one is for Amazon Elasticsearch to pull data from CloudWatch. So we have to create two roles for this. So let us create two roles. So in the IAM section, let's go, and under roles, we have to create two role. So for the first role, so for the first role where the flow logs will be pushing the data to CloudWatch, so we have to create a trusted policy of flow logs, VPC flow logs, and then we have to give the permission to the log group. So you can choose the actual log group that you will create, but as we did not created any log group, we can choose the resource as start. So in the AWS service section, we will choose the service as of now for EC2, then we will change the trusted policy, and then we will select next. And the permission policy, we did not created anything, so we will choose here next, and the role name, we will give it as uh, flow logs to CloudWatch. Now we will create the role. Now we see the role here, flow logs to CloudWatch, and on the trust relationship, we see that we have created for a demo purpose this EC2 service principal. Now we have to edit this one, and instead of EC2, we have to choose VPC flow logs, because this role will be assumed by VPC flow logs. So that's why we have changed this to VPC flow logs. And then we will update the policy. Now this role can be assumed by VPC flow logs instead of EC2. So for, as you can see, the in the service principal, AWS service principal, the VPC flow logs is not there. So you have to create other anything, either a EC2 trusted role or a Lambda trusted role. Then you can change the service principal, and then the permission, and then we will create an inline permission or inline policy, and we go to JSON. And then the statement ID or effect we will not change. What we change is only the action. So in the action section, we will select logs, then star, and on the resource section, as we have not created any flow log, I will give it a star. So for development and testing, this resource star is fine, but for production, you sort it down to the log group that we will create. So now this is fine. So logs, so this will be trusted. So this role will be assumed by VPC flow log, and it can do everything under this logs, whatever the logs have, and on any of the resources. So this is what we will create, and we will give the policy name as flow logs, and we will create the policy. Now my flow logs role are done. So my flow logs role is done. So another role we have to create is for Elasticsearch. So for another role to create, we will go again to this create role. So why we are creating the role before creating the resource? Because while creating the resource, you have to specify the role. So you have to again come back to IAM to create the role. So it's better to create the role before creating the resource in the development and testing. But for production, as you have to short down the resources or streamline the resources, it's better to create the resource than the role. So now, so let's see for this role to be trusted by Lambda. So we have to give a service called Lambda. Why we are giving Lambda? I will explain it later. Why we are giving the trusted policy as Lambda. So why we are giving this Lambda, I will explain it later anyway. So we will select the next, and then we have to choose the policy. But right now we will not give any permission. We will just create the role, and this role, remember this role is for this one. So Elasticsearch will pull data from CloudWatch. So this one is from OpenSearch to OpenSearch pull CloudWatch logs. So OpenSearch will pull logs from CloudWatch, and this is trusted by Lambda. I will explain later why Lambda, and then we will view the role. So the role is created, the trusted entity is created. In this case, we will not change the trusted relationship, or we will change the permission. So we will give a inline policy, and the inline policy is something that this role will be for Elasticsearch. So we have to give Elasticsearch and then everything on Elasticsearch. Similarly, we will give everything on the resource section. So we will give everything for this resource. So this role will be assumed by Lambda, and it can do everything on Elasticsearch on any of the resources. So in production, please sort down the resources to the one that you will need or the domain that you will need. Just give the resource section the particular domain of the Elasticsearch. Don't give it a star in production. But for demo purpose, you can give it. And then on next, and then I will give it a policy name and maybe a OpenSearch policy. And then we will create the policy. So my two roles are created, and this one is the policy where it can do anything on Elasticsearch on any resource, and it will be done by Lambda. Now my two roles are created. Now let's see if our domain is created. So it's only 25%. We have to again wait for a couple of minutes. Now the next part is we have to create a log group. So first of all, we will see if our VPC is there and it needs to send the logs to CloudWatch, right? So think of it as a scenario. So we have our VPC and we will create flow logs to have these logs streamed into CloudWatch. So where in CloudWatch? So for that we need one log group. So first of all, we have to create one log group. So let's go to CloudWatch. So we are in this CloudWatch console, and under log group, we will create a log group, and I will give the name as VPC flow log group. That's it. And I will not do anything else, and I will create the log group. So my VPC flow log group is created. Now flow logs can send the VPC flow logs here in this log group. So what is the next step? We go to VPC. Now let's go to VPC and check if there are any VPC in my account. So let's see if I go to your VPC. Yeah, we have one VPC. So let's give the VPC as project VPC. So I will not create any other VPC. You can create a VPC of your own, but in this case, as already the default VPC is there, I will not create it. Creating a VPC is very easy. You just select the create VPC and select VPC and more, give a auto generated name and just create the VPC select. So in this case, I will not create a VPC and directly go to flow logs. And we see that there is no flow logs assigned in this particular region. Now I will select create flow logs. And this flow log is for my project VPC. And I will give a name to this as flow logs. And I will filter all log group and I will give the aggregation time as 1 minute. So in this case, we will not anything. We will select every logs whatever coming in 1 minute time frame. So for development and testing, you can select this one so that your demo or you can see the data very frequently. And then the destination log group is where we have to send the log to CloudWatch logs. Remember, we have created a CloudWatch log group. So if you select here, so the VPC log group will appear here. And now this is the very interesting one where we have to select the IAM role. Remember, we have created one IAM role for flow logs to push the data into CloudWatch. So we have this IAM role where we have created this flow logs to CloudWatch. This one we have created first. And in this flow log to CloudWatch, you remember we have given the trusted relationship of VPC flow log, and this role right now we have to give it to here while creating the VPC flow log. Now here on the IAM role, if you select flow logs here, so this one will appear, flow logs to CloudWatch. Now flow logs can assume this role and send all logs to CloudWatch because here in the trusted relationship, it has VPC flow log, and in permission, it has everything related to logs. So as I was saying in production, just stream down the log group that you have created here in the resource, but for development and testing, it is not required. So IAM role I have selected, and for log record format, I will not change anything, and I will choose the AWS default format. This is fine, and everything is fine, and I will just create the flow logs. And under the flow logs, if we come back, we will be able to see that the flow logs is currently active. This is fine. Now my VPC logs should go to my flow log group here inside this log group. Right now we don't see anything because we are not communicating anything inside VPC to outside world. So let us create an EC2 instance for this. So why we are creating it? Just some logs to appear in this flow log group. So let us create some EC2 instance, maybe one EC2 instance, and we will select it as public EC2 instance. That's it. And I will select, I don't need a key pair. I will not log in anything here. So auto assign public IP address is enabled. That means it will be a public EC2 instance. And security group is fine. We don't need anything else, and I will just launch the instance. So we will just launch the instance, a public EC2 instance. We will not do anything at all with this EC2 instance. You can also do some kind of other communication for to enable this VPC flow logs. You can spin up one Lambda and inside your VPC, and maybe do some Google search inside this Lambda, or you can do whatever you want. But for demo purpose, I have just created this EC2 instance, and for after a couple of minutes, I hope we will be able to see couple of logs appearing here. So let's leave it now. So what we have done till now, so we have created flow logs. We have created two roles. We in the log group, we have created the log group in Amazon CloudWatch, and the VPC was already there. Now the main task is happening here in the OpenSearch domain. So let's see if our OpenSearch domain is up and running now. So we go back to OpenSearch and we still see 50% is completed. So it still need some time. So I will come back once it is done 100%. Now after a couple of minutes, I am back and I can see that the domain has finished creation. And if I go back to domain and just refresh this one, and I can see that it is active and the change is completed. So our domain is active. Now if we go inside this domain and we have to log in to this domain, right? So we have this domain OpenSearch dashboard URL, So if we click this one, it will ask me for the user ID and password. Remember the one that we have given while creation of the domain, and we can give that here. So I will give the user ID and now the password. So this is my password and I will try to log in, and if everything works well, so it will log in. I will be able to see the dashboard. So it seems my login ID and password um, is okay. Then I will give and the tenant that you have to select, please select global tenant, and I will confirm this. Right now we will not be able to see anything on the dashboard because we are not streamlining data to this OpenSearch. So our OpenSearch dashboard is launched. Now let's go back to CloudWatch and just refresh this log group and see. Yeah, now we can see the couple of log streams and logs has been created. This is fine. So we will streamline these logs to our Elasticsearch. So our log group has logs, VPC flow logs, and these logs we will streamline to OpenSearch. And our OpenSearch dashboard is also ready. Now, a couple of things. We have to go to this here, DevTools, and if you go to DevTools, inside this, we have to give one command. We have to see what are the indices are there, and then this one indices, and then if we run it, we will be able to see all the indices that's there. So currently we will not be able to see the CloudWatch indices here because we have not streamlined it. So we have to streamline that, then we will be able to see that. So this is fine. Now we have to give access OpenSearch to pull logs from CloudWatch, the one that I was telling you, that we have to give OpenSearch dashboard the permission to have this CloudWatch logs imported. How to do that? So first of all, we have to go to here in this part called security, and under security we have roles, and under roles we will have to select the all access because we will give all access to this domain, to the role. And then we have to go to the mapped user, and under the mapped user we will be able to see the admin user that we have logged into this domain, so it has all the access. Similar access we will give to our role that we have created. Remember the role that we have created having the trusted policy of OpenSearch. And then we have to give the manage mapping, and we have to give the backend role. Now we go back to our IAM, and not this role, not the flow logs to CloudWatch role, the other role that we have created. It is OpenSearch pull CloudWatch logs, the one that we have created with the trust relationship of Lambda and the permission of OpenSearch, that Elasticsearch everything on every resources. So this role we have to give, and here in the dashboard we will give this role OS pull. So this role will be able to pull everything from CloudWatch, and then we will map it. So now we have two roles. One is admin, that is I have logged into the user, that role have full access, and this role also have full access. Why we have given this role full access, I will tell you now. Now remember why we have created this role, the one that I told you that I will come later, that this role have a trusted policy of Lambda. So everything is done, that our CloudWatch log group is created, VPC is there, flow logs is coming to CloudWatch, and our OpenSearch dashboard is done. Now we have to stream our CloudWatch logs to dashboard. So let's do that. So we go to CloudWatch and select this log group, and then under actions, under subscription filter, we have to give this create OpenSearch service subscription filter. So we are asking, hey CloudWatch, create a subscription filter and streamline this log to OpenSearch. So while we do that, create OpenSearch service subscription filter. So this will ask me for the cluster or domain that we have created. So I will select yes, in this account it is there, and I will select the OpenSearch cluster, that is the demo domain that we have created. Now very interesting one, Lambda function. So what it does? So CloudWatch actually will create cloud. So just read this one. CloudWatch logs uses Lambda to deliver logs data to OpenSearch service. So you must specify a IAM role that grants Lambda permission to make call to OpenSearch service. To deliver log data to another account, you must specify the OpenSearch service domain URL and OpenSearch service endpoint. So we have to create endpoint. So we don't have to bother about the other account. So as if you just if you now think of it, so CloudWatch needs one Lambda function to deliver logs to OpenSearch. So that's why it needs a role which can be trusted by Lambda. So this is why we have created this OS pull CloudWatch logs as a trust relationship to Lambda. Now we will specify this particular role to here while creating the subscription filter. Now here it says that Lambda IAM execution role. So you have to give a Lambda IAM execution role. That's why we have created the role with Lambda trusted entity. So now if you just give this one, and I think I have to select it. So yeah, so OS pull CloudWatch logs, this one we have created, and it has every permission of OpenSearch. It can do OpenSearch, Elasticsearch, everything on any resource. So now you understand why we have created the Lambda trusted policy role and why it is needed. Similarly, this role will go here in our user mapping, because this role then can see the data, or this role can map the data in our Elasticsearch domain. So Lambda will give data to Elasticsearch domain, and then this role will show the data here. Now we have selected the Lambda role, and then the log format or configure the log format filter. So we streamline the VPC flow logs here. So we will select VPC flow logs, and it will select the subscription filter pattern automatically. We don't have to change anything. You can give a subscription filter name, but I think it is optional. Let's see. And it has a custom data, custom log data, or you can test the pattern using the VPC flow log that we have. And you see here, it has already streamlined the log, everything. And it will go like this in the streaming. So I think I have to give a subscription filter name. So I will give subscription filter is CloudWatch logs and then VPC flow logs. And then I will start streaming the data. I will start streaming now. The log group, the VPC flow log group or the VPC flow log will go to our dashboard, that is our OpenSearch dashboard. Another very interesting thing that I wanted to show you is that now if you select this Lambda and if you go to Lambda console, we will be able to see one Lambda is created, that is the logs to Elasticsearch demo domain. This one we did not create it. We did not create any Lambda here in this demo, but this one CloudWatch created, and the trigger point, if you see, is the CloudWatch logs, and it is streamlining all the data to Elasticsearch. So if you are interested, this is written in Node.js. You can see the code here how it is done. But for your knowledge purpose, you can see it. But for in this demo, we don't need it. So we will close this. But I just wanted to show you that the Lambda has been created. And if you go to permission section, you will be able to see the role that we have given to the Lambda. Now, CloudWatch logs are going to Elasticsearch. So we have to see in the Elasticsearch dashboard or OpenSearch dashboard how it is shown. Now we go back to here under the dev tools, and on the indices we will run again, and now we see here on the last, you see a CloudWatch log group or CloudWatch indices has been created. So this is what we need. So that means our CloudWatch logs is streamed to our OpenSearch dashboard, and 79 or 8 kind of 80 kilobyte of data already there in our Elasticsearch dashboard. Now, uh, this we cannot see currently the data in OpenSearch. So we, for that we have to create indices. So how to create indices? So we go back here in this dashboard, and under create index pattern we have to give one index, and for that we give CWL then start. So where it will take everything, and we can see that there is one already index present, CWL hyphen then the date, and we will give the next step and everything, and the time field we will give a timestamp here. This will come automatically, and we will create the index pattern. And when we create the index pattern, we see all the names and everything, and the column name and row name is created here. And then again, if we go back here and on the discover section, it just takes some time, and it is searching with this indices what are the logs available, and it will show up here. And we can see here that all the logs from the CloudWatch has been traced down to our OpenSearch dashboard. It is kind of a Splunk dashboard. If you have any experience with Splunk, Splunk also shows this kind of data, and this is the same thing, or this is the same kind of, not the exact same thing, but the similar approach or similar query you can do. You can give the same query here, DQL query, and you can search with this log group. And but the main thing is what way I wanted to show you is that the CloudWatch log group is now streamlined to our OpenSearch dashboard. So we can see the logs now in our OpenSearch. Now, if you see the available fields, its ID is there. You can just select it ID, and along with ID, you will be able to differentiate it. What are the ID is present, so you can just also remove the filter. You can also give the based on the timestamp. So on the timestamp, if you select, so based on the timestamp per 30 seconds, it is coming here. You can auto refresh this one, and then maybe on last, I think the 15 minutes is the one, or I think 15 minutes is fine. So 15 minutes is the one where in 15 minutes interval we can see how much logs are coming into this OpenSearch dashboard. So, and you can also based on this uh, maybe the source address, you can also mention the source address from where our logs are coming, or where our all the hits are coming from, where the VPC communication is happening. The source address is also coming up here. You can give the source address, maybe the source port from where is coming, and maybe the destination address as well. From this source, where the which the destination is going, this particular communication, the data, this particular data from this source, this is going to this destination address, and which port it is also hitting. You can also give the destination port as well. So this is how you can select your data, and this is how you can create a table out of it, and you can save this dashboard, and you can view the data in real time, and all the data from VPC flow logs are streamlined now. Now, you can do more. Now, what you can do, you can do visualization on the dashboards as well. So I will not explain the visualization in detail, but you can create visualization. There are some documentation available. You can also see how to create visualization. So maybe if you go here and then go to visualize, and then create a new visualization, and then maybe I don't know, uh, maybe a pie chart, and then the indices from where it will select the data, and the under the buckets maybe you can select the split slices, and aggregation is the one where you can select terms, and then on the select field you can select the source port, maybe from which source port it is coming. And if you update this, so all the source port are coming here. Then maybe if you add a split slices again, and maybe terms and the source address, I think let's select the source address keyword, and if you update this one, it will come for which source address, for which source port it has come. So for this source port, these source addresses are hit by the source port. This is very nice. So and you can go here in the option section, you can also show the labels. Every labels are shown here. So if you just select it, then all the labels for the source port and source addresses will be shown. This is one pie chart that you can create, and you can save the pie chart, maybe source port like this. And you maybe let us create another visualization of a pie chart for destination. So under this split slices, and then again terms, and then the field is destination, or maybe the keyword destination, I guess, destination keyword. And then we have to add it another split slices with the destination port. So it will not come here like that. It is the destination port, and I will update it. And if we update it, there are two things: one, for which destination port it is going, and for which destination address it is going. So we can see that port 22 has been scanned, port 23 has been scanned, port 8080 scanned. So every scanning is going on. I think you remember we have spin up one EC2 instance, so all the vulnerabilities might be going to this particular EC2 instance. So if you see the private IP address 172.31.44.224, and I can see the 170 131.44.224, so most of the IP address that is going here. So I'm pretty sure some of the vulnerabilities or some of the hackers around the world are scanning for these ports and these IP addresses continuously, that you can also visualize. Now you can show the labels here, and this is how you can show the labels. And maybe you can save this with destination. You can save it. Then maybe we can create a visualization of the bucket histogram. So maybe if you go to visualization, create a visualization with I don't know, maybe horizontal bar or vertical bar, maybe this one. And then on the y-axis, if you just sum the bytes for this, for sum, and if you select the byte for it, and if you update it, and on the bucket section on the x-axis, select an aggregation of dist histogram, and then maybe or in here it is terms, and then the bytes. Let's update it, so we can see the data here. So this is the byte that is there. So here sum of bytes is this one. And so you can see, you can create also the visualization of bytes, how the bytes has been came into your VPC, how much data has been came to your VPC. You can also save this one, bytes. Yeah. You can also save this one. Now maybe create another visualization, maybe to create a table. Yeah, so we can create a data table out of it, and then the CWL, and then on the buckets section, maybe we can just split rows of I don't know, maybe split rows of, let's see, date histogram of timestamp. I mean, if we update it, the timestamp per 30 seconds is there, and the count is also there. uh, you can do this one as well. You can do terms in terms of timestamp, and the timestamp in the descending order it will come. If you want to have more, Then also you can add something here, so maybe adding a split rows of maybe terms of uh, account IDs. So for account ID, if you give, so every account ID is in descending order. So this is the account ID. So we have only one account ID. So this will come like this. So maybe for in the inside this account ID, if you want the source and destination address, this is also nice. Uh, so for source address, I will update it, and from source address this is coming. So from source address, I will also select this source port. And then the terms and the source port update, and then I will select the destination address and destination port, and so terms of destination address, and then terms of uh, destination port. So this one I will update, and I can see the view here. So for this account ID, this is for the from this source address, this source port, the destination address and destination port, the count is 1. So this is happening, and I can save this with a table information, and I will save it. Now if you go back to, we have created a couple of visualization, 4 visualization. Now if you go to dashboards, right now we don't have any dashboard, but you can add it. So we add, and then we add this one bytes, destination, source port, and table. Everything is added, and if you just come here, that is a nice dashboard is created. Now if you just go this, if you just give this table here, because it is a table, so it should be visualized as it is. So we will be able to see lots of data here in a nice way. So this is my table, and this is the bytes data, this is the destination source address, this is the source port and source IP address information. So everything is visualized here, and now also you can save the dashboard as main dashboard maybe. So this is how you create a dashboard from the visualization, and everything is and your dashboard is saved. So this is how you stream your CloudWatch logs or VPC flow logs data mm, uh, into OpenSearch domain or a OpenSearch dashboard. If you with a very minimal price that you have to pay. I know some of the enterprises are paying huge price for the Splunk licenses and Splunk enterprises, but I don't know the actual scenario how it is done. But the thing is, if you have a very small organization, and if you don't have that much budget, then you can definitely go for this OpenSearch domain, which is less costly, and you can also visualize the data kind of in a Splunk way, but not with all the specification. I think Splunk is huge. That's why they are taking the license cost. They have here really nice features, but you can also try this OpenSearch, and this is very nice to have it. You can also visualize and query the data in a similar way, but with limited specifications. But this is good to have. So this is what I wanted to show you, that how to streamline the VPC flow log data within OpenSearch domain. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you are new to this channel, kindly like, share, subscribe subscribe, and if you are already subscribed to this channel, kindly give your comment in the comment section. Let me know what you liked and what you didn't. Maybe some of your ideas, what I can do next in my videos, I can bring next in my videos. So that's it for today. I will be back with another exciting video. So till then, take care and goodbye.